Hey guys, welcome to NFL Week 2. I put a video up earlier in the week recapping Week 1. Went 3-1 against the spread. I had all 4 of those plays on the Patreon. So again, join the Patreon, guys. You'll get my plays for this week. I think I'll have 3 plays up there. And I'll put the link in the description where you can actually click the link and go straight to my page. So it should be a bit easier than typing out the whole address. So this week, guys, NFL Week 2 is known for the week of overreaction. You're going to have people who want to bet the teams that won last week and want to fade the teams that lost last week. You really see a sharp square divide in Week 2 of the NFL. So let's not be on the wrong side of these ones. All we can do is try to pick what we feel is the sharpest bet, and then we see what happens. One game, I'll talk about 2 very public plays for this week, the top 2 public plays. The first one is the Miami Dolphins at the New England Patriots. The Dolphins, and you can see why. The Dolphins are only a 2.5-point favorite on the road against New England. Miami looked great last week, certainly on offense. New England, offensively, was, mediocre. They kept the game close. They could have won against Philly. But I think, Miami is a very public side this week. If I'm going to play that game, I'm looking for a +3 for New England, or I just stay away. It's a primetime game, home divisional dog of 3. I think, New England, when was the last time they started the season as a home dog 2 weeks in a row? But it's going to be tough. New England certainly isn't as good as Miami, doesn't have as much offense as Miami. Bill Belichick, a little side note, I usually don't go into personal stuff, off the field stuff, but Belichick, I guess, separated from his wife of 16 years this past week, so that could be a bit of a distraction in the New England locker room. But other than that, I think you look at New England. If you can find a +3, you take them or you pass. Another very public side this week is the Chargers on the road going to Tennessee. Same thing. They're about a 2.5 to 3-point favorite. If you can find Tennessee +3, I think you take them. Tennessee is one of those few teams. When you're getting points, you can take them. When you're laying points, you fade them because they're not a team that can win by any margin. But when you're getting points, they typically do pretty well. Vrabel is a home dog of 3 or more. I think is like 15-5 against the spread. So he does cover spreads as a dog. If you can find a 3, take Tennessee. The Chargers, a fun fact for these guys, lost last week against the Dolphins after scoring their own. Previous to last week, if you were at home, you scored 34 points, did not turn over the football, and rush for at least 200 yards, you were 165-1 straight up. The Chargers are the second team to lose. They ran for over 200 yards last week. They won the turnover battle 2-0. They were at home. They scored 34 points, and they still lost the game. And so the Chargers have a lot of issues, obviously, on defense. Certainly the rush defense is their big issue. And all Tennessee really wants to do is run. So if you can find a +3, maybe take Tennessee. Buffalo and the Raiders, I think if you're going to play it, you take Buffalo or pass. I think if Buffalo wins this week, they're going to win by quite a few points. Rams and Niners, that's around 8.5, 8 points. I think you could take the Rams because the total, I think, is going to be pretty low. It's probably going to go more towards the under, I would think. So I think you take the points with the Rams in that game. Seattle and Detroit, I really like this game. Hint, I do like Seattle +the points. Similar to Tennessee, when Detroit's getting points, you typically take them. When they're giving up points, you typically want to fade them. They're about a 5.5-point favorite. That could have been bet down a bit now, but for the most part, Detroit is around a 5-point favorite this week. I like Seattle at +the points, +5.5. I got them at just because, this is a really good buy low spot on Seattle. And again, this is the week where we don't overreact. We buy on low teams. We sell on high teams. Tampa Bay is a sell high team. I know they're playing Chicago this week, but Tampa won last week, and I think they're not that good, obviously. So I think you could sell high in Chicago, buy low on Seattle. I like the Seahawks this week. Another buy low spot is Pittsburgh in a primetime home divisional dog. But we got another one. So just like New England, Pittsburgh's +2.5 at home against Cleveland. That's a Monday nighter, I believe. I think it's Pittsburgh or pass. Buy low spot on Pittsburgh. Going to be a tough game because Cleveland looked really good last week. But again, maybe sell high in the Browns, buy low on the Steelers. I like the Steelers at +the points. I like the Seahawks at +the points. Heck, I like the Jets at +the points this week. They're 8.5-point dog to Dallas. But that total's sitting at 38, 39. It's projected to be a low-scoring game. So if the Jets can score even just 17 points this week, they should cover that number. Dallas's offense didn't do anything last week. They look great. Sell high on the Cowboys, 40-0 last week. But that was all defense, all special teams. Dak didn't have a great game. The Jets still have a top 5 defense, in my opinion. And I don't think they're going to ask Zach Wilson to do much because he's not good. Put the ball in Hall's hands. Put the ball in Cook's hands. Find Garrett Wilson. Use your playmakers you have on offense. Trust your defense to give the Cowboys offense some trouble. I also like Jets plus the points. So those are just a few games, a handful of games that I like. But remember, guys, week 2 is don't overreact. Find value on teams that didn't do well last week. 0-1 teams versus 1-0 teams in week 2 are 61-41 against the spread in their last over 100 games. So they typically do well. Don't overreact. Buy on teams that are very low and didn't look great last week, within reason, obviously, and try to sell on teams that maybe looked, really, really good last week. So that's my opinion, guys. There's a few of my plays. Sign up to the Patreon. Get my 3 official plays this week. 3-1 last week. Good luck, guys, week 2, and I hope you guys like my tan.